Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Danny from The Glittered Rose. You can find me under that name on Instagram and also Etsy. I have something a little bit different to share with you today, and it's this gorgeous Christmas mixed media bauble. I had lots of fun. I used lots of different mixed media supplies and techniques to create this bauble. I really felt like doing something 3D and out of my art journal, and I think I've created something really sweet. So it features lots of texture. There's crackle paste and aging. The images are my own, which I printed on rice paper or tissue paper, and I just had a ball making it. So I would love it if you stick around. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and let me know down below what you think. I think that these baubles would make the most perfect Christmas gift for people. All right, guys, let's get into it. So to start with, I've grabbed out a 10 centimeter round bauble. It's quite a large one, but I want it quite big so that the main images can be fairly big. I've wiped it down with some isopropyl alcohol just to remove any manufacturing grease or grime, just to help the gesso adhere. I'm now using a sponge dauber just to daub on some gesso, just to give my chalk paint something to stick. I am using some chalk paint, which does have primer in it, so it is gritty. I probably didn't need to do this step, but I think it's probably best to be safer than sorry. This is actually my second one. I melted my first one when I tried to dry it. So it does dent with heat. They do dent with heat very easily. So just be careful when you're drying them. So I'm going to finish this and then I'll be back with the paint. When I saw I could get a little sample pot of Annie Sloan Duck Egg Blue um, chalk paint, I had to grab it. It's my favorite color of all the colors, and I just love Annie Sloan chalk paint. So I splurged and bought myself a little pot. Um, so again, I'm just daubering this on. It's kind of difficult to see what I'm doing and capture it on the video, so I do apologize that I'm out of shot a little bit with this. By daubering rather than painting, you get lots of lovely texture, um, which is what I want. So I'm just using my little silicone mat there just to pop some paint on and get that on my sponge so it's nice and even, and then dauber it on. I will probably give this 2 coats. I won't make you sit through watching the whole process of painting it because I think you get a good idea. Just dauber it on. These sponge daubers were very cheap from Amazon, and they're sort of no mess. When they get a bit dead, you can put them in the bin without worrying because they were so cheap. All right, I'm going to do my second coat. I'm going to dry this off, finish this, dry it off, do my second coat, and I might come back. I have a feeling that the video is going to be very long anyway, so I won't make you sit through unnecessary steps when you get the idea of what I'm doing. Printed tissue paper in Australia for this sort of thing is so expensive. $14 an A4 sheet. So I am very glad that I have the ability to print my own tissue paper. I will link up above a tutorial for printing your own tissue paper in case somebody wants to go that route. These are just my own images, and I think that they printed really nicely. They're sort of my aesthetic vintage, and I think that they should be nice. Just trying to work out which colour works well with this duck egg, and I think I'm going to go the little girls. I'm going to cut these out, and then we'll be back to stick it on, which I think is probably the most nerve-wracking part. Okay, so for this section, I've got some Pentart Decoupage glue and varnish in Silky Sheen, and I'm going to hopefully glue these on without too many wrinkles. Fingers crossed. Okay, so because it's going on such a round surface, I'm just going to make cuts in this image to hopefully smooth it out. This bauble is not exactly round. So that's going to be a challenge to try and get both images in the middle. I won't include the footage, but I've had a whoopsie daisy with the one that I was just cutting up. I didn't put cuts far enough into that circle. So you really need to pop some generous cuts into the circle so that it can lay flat onto the bauble. This one looks like it's going to be a lot better. But it's just the tissue paper is so delicate, so you've just got to be a bit gentle and try and brush out any air bubbles or wrinkles. I'm just taking my time on this. The cuts have warped that circle a little bit, but it won't matter too much because I'm planning to pop some rhinestone chain around that image. So I'm just making a few more tears as I go around, just to try and stop any wrinkles. But it's very delicate, because when the glue goes on, it makes it even more delicate. But I love that look. It sort of looks very vintage and aged. I don't think that you need to watch me pop on the next one. I'm gonna pop the next image on. I could print that image again, but I think I'm just gonna pop one of the ladies on the other side. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now I've got some B7000 glue, and I'm just gluing this gorgeous fine rhinestone chain. I'm using gold with clear stones, and I'm just slowly going around the outside. There's a little bit of working time with the B7000, so you can get these looking pretty good. So just slowly putting it on and then just doing section by section to try and get this round. The chain is so fine. It's really sweet. I just found it on Amazon. I just have my bauble sitting inside a sticky tape roll. So that's just holding it in place. So as you can see, I'm just doing bit by bit. For anybody that's new to my channel, I'm Danny, a mixed media artist from Australia. I love creating things like art journals, tags. I love playing with paints and different mediums. So this is, I think, just an extension of that. I realize it'll be different for a lot of people, and some people probably won't be particularly interested in this. But you can just pick and choose what you want to watch on my channel. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and then I'll do the back side, and then I might come back to do some aging and crackles. Okay, so for this next step, I'm going to use the classic crackle varnish from Pentart. This is a two-part product. So part one goes on, you let it dry, and then you paint over the top with part two, and then your varnish is crackled. It doesn't crackle the paint, it just leaves a layer of crackle over the top. It's clear, so I don't think you're going to really see what I'm doing. So I think I might just pop this on and let it dry, and then um, I'll show you the next step. I just think watching me paint on 2 layers of clear varnish probably won't be a lot of fun. So the best way to use this is to brush in one direction. You get more even crackles that way, and just try and miss your miss your trims. All right, we'll be back to age it. Okay, so I've let this air dry because I believe I've read that it crackles better if you don't hit it with a heat gun. And I want to use two methods of aging. So I've got some wax and in gold, and I'm popping that through the cracks all over, and then I'll use that brown antiquing gel. So I'm just rubbing this wax in. I think it might be orange oil based. It smells incredible. So I'm just rubbing it in. I realize that my camera probably is not picking this up very well, but it cracked beautifully. I just want that little bit of metallic through some of those cracks, and then I'll go in with the antiquing gel. Just for a little bit more aging, for it to be a bit more obvious. Okay, so now I'm rubbing in my antiquing gel, just with a paper towel. So I'm first started with some paper towel. Now I've got a stencil brush, just a cheap one because this is a waxy kind of a material or medium. Um, you don't want to ruin a good brush, so just something to rub to really get that antique gel into the cracks. I find all this really relaxing, just, you know, slowly aging things and watching it come to life. This is how it looks. I hope that the camera's picking up these cracks because they're so pretty. I think that's a nice amount of aging. It's not too much. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to go over this with some glaze, I think. I'm just going to pop on a layer of varnish and let that dry, and then make some bows and glue that on. and then we'll be back. I have this gold trim that I'm going to use. I'm just using the seam for this bauble as a guide. And I'm using some Gorilla Fabric glue just to glue down this trim. It's sort of a vintage gold, and I think it's quite nice. It's funny how a little bit of aging and some varnish can really make a difference how you feel about something. I'm just really loving this now. Thinking these would be nice decorations for your house. They um, don't have to be for Christmas. Like if I did roses for the images, they could be really sort of shabby chic furniture decorations. I know I've got some nails hanging out of some um, pieces of furniture that I've painted, and I think that these would look really nice when I hang them. I'm going to chop this off, tie some bows, and glue them all, and then I think we might call it finished. And here we are, all finished. I have to say, I'm so excited. I just love it. It's what I was imagining. It's really nice when a plan comes together. I think it's just so gorgeous. I love the mixture of the gold and the brown in the cracks. I think it's really nice to have that shimmer. Well, thanks so much for watching till the end. Let me know what you think of my bauble. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I really do appreciate everyone who takes the time to comment. It's really lovely to read your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, guys. Bye for now.